Electric cars versus gas cars. Which is more cost-effective in the long run? Compared to the industry norm, which encompasses gas and electric-powered cars, the average sticker price of a new electric vehicle in 2021 was about $10,000 higher. However, as makers release more cheap models and battery technology, the most costly component of an EV advances. This price margin is anticipated to significantly decrease in the upcoming years as the EV market expands quickly. Continue watching the video to learn more about electric and gas cars. For more interesting content like this, subscribe to our channel, plus charge. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications whenever a new video is posted. By taking advantage of tax benefits, which can reduce the cost of an EV by thousands of dollars, you can offset some of that expense. The government's EV tax credit provides up to $7,500 for brand new EVs, and for the first time, also $4,000 for pre-owned EVs. Due to the new production standards that must be met for new EVs to be qualified, there may be a short-term decrease in the supply of eligible EVs while supply networks adjust. State-specific tax benefits are also provided by many governments, though. Spend time looking up what is accessible for the type you want to purchase. Include a possible upgrade to your EV charging device in your planning as well. An additional 32 miles of range can be added after 8 hours of charging from a normal 120-volt outlet, which is usually more than enough for everyday driving requirements. Installing a Level 2 240-volt receptacle in your carport will enable you to add 200 miles or more overnight to take more frequent and longer journeys. You will have to pay about $2,000 for that implementation, but some states and local energy providers provide rebates to help mitigate the cost. You should be able to compare vehicle costs more efficiently once you know what incentives you are eligible for. One of the main benefits of transitioning to electricity is that you can avoid expensive trips to the gas station. According to 2018 research by the University of Michigan's Transportation Research Institute, an electric car's annual fuel costs average $485 compared to a gas-powered car's annual fuel costs of $1,117. A 2020 Consumer Reports study confirmed that EV owners typically pay about 60% less annually on fuel expenses than owners of gas-powered vehicles. However, some people use different formulas when conserving money. This is where things become a little challenging. To begin with, the efficiency of electric cars refers to how far they can travel using the same quantity of energy. Similar to the miles per gallon statistic for gas-powered vehicles, the effectiveness of an EV is determined by how many kilowatt-hours of power it uses per 100 miles. It's preferable if the kilowatt-hour 100-mile cost is lower. With 25 kilowatt-hours per 100 miles, the 2022 Tesla Model 3 RWD is the most efficient vehicle. However, the cheaper 2022 Chevy Bolt EUV is similar with a 29 kilowatt-hour per 100 miles rating. So be sure to take this into account when comparing purchases. Your electricity cost will increase when you charge your car at home, but the exact amount depends on when you set it and where you reside. The price of electricity can differ greatly by region, just like the expense of gas. A 2020 study compared the total fuel expenses of internal combustion engine cars and battery-powered electric cars state by state, considering both factors. The largest margin in the nation is available to EV drivers in Washington state, who could save as much as $14,480 throughout their car. Hawaii is at the other extreme of the spectrum, where switching to electricity could cost $2,494 more over 15 years. The kilowatt-hour rate for an EV per 100 miles is multiplied by your energy rate measured in cents per kilowatt-hour, which you can discover on your monthly statement to get an approximate idea of your charging expenses. This will show you how much electricity costs for every 100 kilometers you travel. Remember that you can save 30% on that charge by charging your vehicle throughout the night when demand and price for energy are lower. Also, setting it up at home is usually less costly than public charging outlets. Your gasoline expenses could considerably rise if you only use these charging stations, which provide quicker, higher voltage charging. Compare your final estimated electricity cost to the amount of gas you usually spend after determining how these variables affect you and your chosen EV model. Electric cars have an obvious advantage regarding maintenance expenses because there are no spark plugs to change or oil to check. Basic upkeep procedures like service inspections and tire changes are still necessary for electric vehicles. However, electric cars usually cost half as much to keep and repair compared to gas-powered automobiles. Your level of vehicle care will greatly impact maintenance expenses, but EVs have an advantage. EVs have a much longer lifespan than conventional vehicles because they have fewer working components and aren't subject to the mechanical strains of the internal combustion. Before moving on, subscribe to our channel for more interesting content like this. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications whenever a new video is posted. By figuring out the initial costs of your unique model and then the ongoing costs, you can approximate your savings. These should consider the efficiency of your model, the amount of driving you anticipate doing, local energy prices, your charging routines, and annual upkeep costs. Afterwards, evaluate those with the gas-powered option. Despite costing more initially than gas-powered cars, electric vehicles are less costly over their lifespan, largely because fuel is less expensive. This overall expense of ownership is broken down in several research studies. According to Consumer Reports, all EVs examined lifetime ownership costs were many thousands of dollars lower than all similar ICE car expenses. Electric car insurance does cost more. This is because even though individual fixes are less common, they can be more costly. But the difference is a little narrow. According to one survey, the typical insurance premium for EV users is 15% higher. Fortunately, as insurance providers gain faith in the dependability of EVs, prices are likely to decline. Rebates exist for electric cars, but it can take time to pinpoint when they are available. For starters, location will affect rebates and savings. Refunds that aren't offered elsewhere are accessible in some states and even some localities. Getting the cadence right presents another problem. Usually, the funding for those refunds is for a specific period. A significant portion of what makes EVs economically feasible is subsidies. According to research, financial contributions have allowed battery electric cars to achieve cost parity in the UK, California, and Texas. However, this is not the case for plug-in hybrid electric vehicles because they have yet to get as much financial support. Sadly, upfront EV costs are rising due to escalating supply chain problems and a trend among makers to stuff bigger batteries into their cars to ease range anxiety. According to data, the average cost of an EV increased from April 2021 to April 2022 by 16.1%, higher than the industry average of 13%. However, petroleum costs are also rising and could eventually make up the difference. There are many factors to consider when comparing the expenses of your car. Still, in general, EVs are less expensive in the long run than gas-powered vehicles, particularly if you reap the benefits of rebates and are a moderate user. Concerns about whether electric cars are healthier for the climate have also been raised. Yes, electric transportation is greener and opens the door to a more viable future, to put it briefly. For example, research has shown that the typical mid-range car's electric model beats its fuel-powered equivalent regarding air pollution. Driving an EV is more ecologically beneficial than using a gas vehicle because they are fueled by energy. Of course, it's equally crucial that the energy used to power EVs originates from a pure source. EVs have another benefit because the energy output from renewable sources frequently changes by the day or the season. By coordinating EV power usage with abundant renewable energy, smart charging technology makes fueling your EV even greener. Throughout their lifespans, EVs emit significantly fewer emissions than gas-powered cars, according to research. However, acquiring raw materials and producing lithium-ion batteries result in trash and hazardous pollutants. To further increase the environmental friendliness of EVs, it will be critical to make changes to the complete supply chain, its procedures, and how they impact all stakeholders. There have already been some good changes, with the number of pollutants generated by lithium-ion battery manufacturing today being less than half of what it was in 2017. Examining production sites and methods can help identify additional areas for growth. For instance, batteries produced in Europe would have a lower carbon footprint because cleaner energy sources power their manufacturing sites. That's all for today. If you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive notifications. Also, express your valuable thoughts in the comments section below. Till then, bye! Also, spend some time watching other videos on the channel.